Congress returning to Washington today to a new political landscape. I spoke with House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy this weekend, along with Congressman David Cicilline on Democrats, the Sunday Morning Futures program, about the agenda going forward. Watch.
Well, we'll want to find common ground. We will look to make sure we continue to make our military strong, make sure that we can combat China and others and their aggressive actions, and also when it comes to trade expanding. We want to find places that we can find common ground, but those places that we principally disagree with, we will stand up strongly to show America the difference, to make sure that we can continue to grow this country.
Democrats ran on a very specific agenda. I helped craft it with my two co-chairs of the Democratic Policy and Communications Committee. It's an agenda for the people of this country. It's focusing on driving down the cost of health care, driving down the cost of prescription drugs, protecting coverage for pre-existing condition, raising family incomes by rebuilding our country with a serious infrastructure plan for our roads, bridges, ports, transit systems. Will create 16 million good-paying jobs, and taking on the corruption in Washington by getting money out of our political system.
Joining me right now is Congressman-elect or Florida's 6th Congressional District and former Green Beret, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Waltz. Lieutenant Colonel, good to see you this morning. Congratulations to you, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks so much, Maria.
Your reaction. Let's talk first about the new Congress and what you expect to get done now working with Democrats.
Well, you know, one of the things that I'm very excited about in this Congress is the amount of veterans that are running on both sides of the aisle. I think that's something that's really resonated with voters. They understand that veterans know how to get things done. They're not as ideological. You know, I can tell you, Maria, in the foxhole, nobody cares about party or race, religion, socioeconomic background. The enemy's bullets certainly don't care. And, you know, I think you're going to see an approach, or at least an ethos, where compromise isn't a dirty word, where we can move the country forward, because you're going to have folks, we're right now at a record low in our nation's history at around 17% of veterans in Congress. I think that's going to increase, and you're going to see people focused on mission, on country, and on getting things done. That's what I heard from hundreds of thousands of doors, that people want results, they don't want resistance, and they expect their elected representatives to accomplish what they set out to do.
So I guess, should we expect defense spending to stay elevated then?
I think so. You know, I can tell you from firsthand experience, after 17 years of war, our military, our equipment's exhausted. You have pilots that are younger than the planes that they're flying, and we face unprecedented threats between Russia, China, and still a metastasizing, growing Islamic extremism problem. So I think we're going to have to. There's really not a choice there.
One of the huge issues, though, Congressman-elect, it's Dagan McDowell. Good to see you
Thanks,
again.
Dagan. Yeah.
Is that the U.S. is on course to spend more on the interest on our debt than even on defense spending. That's going to happen about 4 to 5 years from now. So in order to make sure that our military is sound in terms of our financial support, we need to figure out how we're going to rein in spending elsewhere. What's your plan on that?
Well, so there's two ways, right? You know, I'm a business owner as well as a veteran, and there's two ways to deal with debt. You deal with growth and with cutting spending. I think President Trump's absolutely spot on what he's doing to grow the economy as a business owner himself. And then I think you need members that have the fortitude to stand up and take on spending. Not only do I support the military, but I also hold the Pentagon accountable for when there's waste involved in their spending in all government agencies. But, Dagan, we both know that on the one hand you have the discretionary spending and then you have the non-discretionary spending. And what gets at the heart of that is the cost of health care. We have to take, I'm fascinated to see if the Democrats will take on what it takes to lower the cost of care. Tort reform, selling across state lines, going to more of a free market system, Medicare and Medicaid fraud, really getting serious about driving down the cost of care, which would then make it more accessible and affordable and help businesses like mine and help our debt.
Congressman-elect Mitch Rochelle, one of the things that concerns business owners, my firm recently did a study of what are on the minds of business leaders, and the number one thing that they're looking for in a bipartisan way is cybersecurity. And you talked about defense spending. I think they're interrelated. Do you think that's an area, because I haven't heard much from Washington about policy around protecting intellectual property, from not just theft, but from a cybersecurity risk. Is that something that you think could be an agenda, especially, more military people? Obviously, they have a pretty good sense of cyber warfare.
I can tell you, watching China roll out its 6th-generation stealth fighter, which looks exactly like ours, armed drones, which look exactly like ours, underwater submersibles, which look like ours, doesn't sit well with veterans, and they have essentially stolen that intellectual property. So, this is about how the private sector and the government come together in a way that's in line with American values, not dictated from Washington. But look, I think we're getting to the point where we really have no choice. And the more business owners, the more veterans you have on the Hill that understand those dynamics, I think the better. So, yes, that's something I certainly want to take on. Look, we have to, as a country, we are having our technological edge be stolen in front of our very eyes. And at the same time, this is something that President Trump, I think, has taken on. The Republican Congress needs to take it on, and I hope the Democrats join us in that.
It's pretty incredible what has taken place since the midterm elections Tuesday night. There's still no winner for the state
Less
Senate.
than a week.
Yeah, let's talk about Florida. There's still no winner for the gubernatorial and the state Senate race. The controversy over a recount is continuing this morning. Democratic candidate Andrew Gillum has relinquished the race, against Republican Ron DeSantis, but he took that back. What do you think is going on here, and what's your reaction to the fact that in Arizona we see now a change in leadership post the midterms? Now Sinema is winning, or won.
In Florida, this is so concerning. Frankly, it's embarrassing for our state. It's 2 counties that year, cycle after cycle, we're having these problems. It's incompetence at best. It's fraud, frankly, at worst, as many have alleged. This is happening year after year. I think we need to see accountability when it comes to these election officials. I can tell you I had 4 counties in my district, and the T's were crossed and the I's were dotted. This is the heart of our democracy. As a veteran, this is what we fight to defend and sacrifice to defend all over the world, and they have a solemn duty to get it right. I'm glad to see so much attention on it, but once this is all said and done, and I think you will see Ron DeSantis and Rick Scott emerge as they currently are ahead, there needs to be some accountability afterwards so that we're not dealing with this again in 2020.
I just want to quickly point out something that Byron York tweeted out that was mentioned on Special Report last night. Like, Rick Scott went into this, he was leading by 56,000 votes on election night, tens of thousands of votes for the DeSantis lead going into this. If a recount reverses the initial margin of more than a few hundred votes, it would be unprecedented in the history of recent American elections. According to Fair Vote, almost 4,700 statewide elections between 2000 and 2016, only 26 of them went to a recount. Of those 26, just 3 recounts wound up changing the initial results of the race. It was one in Washington, one in Vermont, and one in Minnesota. The average swing in those 3 elections after the recounts, 311 votes.
It's incredible.
So you watch these results.
And is this largely because of Broward County?
Broward County and Palm Beach County.
Yeah.
And but what has us so incensed is this has been a habitual problem. This goes back to Bush versus Gore. And it happens cycle after cycle. And what so many of us are asking is, where's the accountability for these election officials?
Yeah, we're also asking that this morning. Lieutenant Colonel, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Maria.